Tonight, nursing home nightmare. Residents and colleagues at risk because a health worker couldn't stay away. She felt sick but went to work and has now tested positive for COVID-19. Queensland ready to reawaken at the stroke of midnight, but authorities are warning tread with caution. Bids set to close with at least 8 offers on the table for Virgin as the airline finally delivers some good news to passengers. Giving China the chop, Donald Trump's threat in an already rocky relationship.
We could cut off the whole relationship. Now, if you did, what would happen? You'd save $500 billion.
And it's game on for the Gold Coast as the AFL confirms a season restart with interstate teams bound for Queensland.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. There's growing fears tonight that a central Queensland aged care facility could become the centre of a coronavirus outbreak. A nurse has already tested positive. She was sick for days but kept working, risking the lives of hundreds of staff and vulnerable patients. John Paul Gonzo is following this story. JP, this infection goes well beyond the nursing home.
Well, it could, Georgie, and that is what is so troubling about this case. Not only did the nurse go to work, she was out and about in the community while she was unwell and showing symptoms. It's unclear how severe they are, but it's understood it is a mild case and she is now in quarantine at home. Authorities believe the nurse was given a medical exemption by her GP to fly to Brisbane. On one of those flights is where they say she may have contracted the virus. It is the first new infection in Rockhampton in 7 weeks. The region had no active cases just days ago. This new case has triggered a major medical response with so many staff and patients potentially exposed. It should be a sanctuary for our elderly, but a central Queensland nursing home is now the epicentre of coronavirus.
It's very, very concerning.
A nurse from the North Rockhampton facility tested positive at 8 o'clock last night. She'd been working and out in the community while unwell for 12 days. On May 5, she started showing symptoms and was infectious 2 days before that, putting the health of 115 patients and 180 staff at risk, including those with high needs dementia.
We're regarding all 115 residents and all 180 staff as potentially having been in contact.
The centre is in lockdown and for now residents will remain there. The nurse likely contracted the virus on a flight from Brisbane. It's unknown if she worked anywhere else. A specialist doctor and rapid response team have been moved in to manage the health response.
They are working to quarantine any staff and residents who may be contacts of that individual.
We've not had any positive results yet from any of the testing that started last night.
Extra resources have also been sent north. The Chief Health Officer is ordering anyone in the city showing symptoms to get tested.
We are casting the net very widely. We need to see whether there are any other cases that have occurred in Rockhampton as a result of this particular individual.
Outbreaks in interstate nursing homes have been deadly. Health authorities are desperate to avoid that, but serious questions are being raised. How and why a nurse at a government-run facility was allowed to continue working while infected.
Either proper procedures were not in place or the procedures weren't followed.
More test results will be known within days, revealing how far and how quickly the virus has spread. There is another warning tonight for passengers on board a Qantas flight that departed Brisbane. QF 537 arrived in Sydney on Tuesday afternoon. On board was a potentially infectious traveller that has since tested positive to coronavirus. The flight landed at 4:05. Contact tracing is now underway, especially for passengers who are seated in rows 31 to 35. Georgie?
Thank you, John Paul, with that update. The situation in Rockhampton is exactly what authorities have been warning us about for weeks. Now we need to be extra cautious, with many businesses allowed to open their doors from midnight under Stage 1 restrictions.
A final cleanse of her beauty business.
'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cleanse of her beauty business. 'A final cle
And Tina Roberts is ready to welcome back her loyal clients.
I think we have 200 people booked in tomorrow in one day. Yes, we have 1,000 bookings in the next week. So it's, yeah, I am excited. I feel like it's Christmas. It's been my best May ever, actually.
Marking out her salon to fit a maximum of 10 people. A fresh start after a 6-week shutdown.
We've been here 25 years and, you know, to be honest, you don't realise how important you are in the local people's lives.
It'll be dining only at restaurants, clubs and cafes.
We're totally booked out tomorrow. I think we've got about 2 spaces left for Sunday's session, and we've broken it down from Wednesday to Sunday, and we're doing 4 sessions a day, so up to 10 people obviously, for 2-hour periods at a time.
Patrons can expect a new experience with disposable plates and a strict seating plan.
It's going to be fun though, I can't wait to get more people in here.
The clear message from businesses: book ahead.
So we tell people on the phone, when you come we will have to ask for your name, your address, your phone number. We don't want to intimidate you on the day, but we will have to ask that just so you're prepared in advance.
From tomorrow, outside gatherings like picnics and boot camps will also be limited to 10. You can road trip 150 kilometres from home, while day visitors will also be allowed back to North Stradbroke, Fraser and Moreton Islands. But extra police will be on deck, breaking up big groups at beaches, parks, playgrounds and shopping centres.
If you're going somewhere and it looks crowded, don't go in there. Make another choice.
Inside the home, 5 people can visit, but host a house party and risk a huge fine.
People, I think, get to the point where they think, oh, it's over, now we can return back to normal. It's not over.
It is even more important now as we're opening up these restrictions for people, if they're sick, to stay at home, but also to get tested as well. Because lives and livelihoods depend on it.
If we regress and it goes backwards, then it was all for nothing.
And state political reporter Claire Barnes joins us now. Claire, schools will soon be back in full swing.
Yeah, Georgie, the government announced today it's been given the green light to fully reopen schools as of next Monday. On May 25th, years 2 to 10 will also return to the classroom. This is, of course, part of a staged return, which has already seen prep to year 1, as well as senior students back at school. The government says in those years, the attendance rate has been just over 80%. Now, each school, of course, will have to implement certain measures, such as extra cleaning or smaller class sizes if possible.
Schools are implementing a number of strategies: staggered lunch breaks, staggered start times. They're also looking even at finishing times, so that when the drop or pick up is happening, that they're not all culminating around at the same time. And those strategies this week have worked very well.
So, Georgie, I'm sure there will be plenty of parents counting down to next Monday.
No doubt. Thank you, Claire, at State Parliament. The 2 superpowers of our world are tonight locked in a war of words. Donald Trump has threatened to cut off America's relationship with China. In return, they've called him a giant baby on the brink of a meltdown.
Donald Trump arrived in Pennsylvania to a warm welcome, but it's his relationship with China's President Xi that could be about to go on ice.
Right now, I don't want to speak to him. There are many things we could do. We could do things. We could cut off the whole relationship.
Something that would no doubt please supporters like this: the president visiting a mask factory of all places and refusing to wear one.
Thank you. All that social distancing. Look at you people all spread out 6 feet. That's pretty impressive. But we like it the old way, a little bit better, don't we?
Trump announced he'll restore the national stockpile of medical supplies.
My goal is to produce everything America needs for ourselves and then export to the world, and that includes medicines.
While at a Senate hearing, this mask maker testified that he warned of shortages.
I've been working on this damn issue for 13 years, trying to save lives. Nobody listened.
Others also tried to sound the alarm.
He said, we're in deep the world is, and we need to act. And I pushed that forward to the highest levels I could in HHS and got no response.
This immunologist turned whistleblower claims he was fired for speaking out when the president began promoting an untested malaria drug.
Americans deserve the truth. The truth must be based on science.
But this is what Americans are being told instead.
It could be the testing's frankly overrated.
Donald Trump is continuing to lay blame on his predecessor, Barack Obama, saying he didn't leave behind an adequate pandemic plan. Today, the former president hit back, posting a single word on social media: vote. In Wisconsin, bars opened immediately after the Supreme Court struck down the statewide stay-home order, the world's most infected country with a patchwork pandemic response. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
The future of Virgin Australia will soon become a little bit clearer, with bids to buy the airline closing in the next hour. For the company's workers and customers, there is already some good news, with loyalty points back in play.
Virgin right now has no clear owner and few actual flights, but you can book them again using points.
Well, I think the Virgin Awards announcement is an excellent one. It shows the confidence that there will be a Virgin into the future.
The first formal bids for the airline are being collected right now by the administrator, who set a 6 p.m. deadline. Virgin still on track for a new owner by the end of next month. The union's favouring a long-term player, while the Prime Minister talks up the possibility of billions of dollars in domestic travel as international remains frozen.
Australians who might otherwise go elsewhere, that is a very large market, and that will be targeted.
But the strains on aviation are falling unevenly on the workers in it.
Thousands of airport workers, catering staff, airport security people have found themselves caught out in a loophole. They have now been stood down, but because they're employed by foreign-owned companies, they are missing out on the JobKeeper payments.
I was born in Australia, I grew up in Australia, I work in Australia, and I pay taxes. Why am I and the people I work with not getting access to JobKeeper?
When you don't have a work, when you don't have a job to get up to in the morning, you wake up and you think to yourself, what happened to the world?
6 million Australians now rely on JobKeeper payments. Labor says this is a glitch.
Josh Frydenberg can fix this with a stroke of a pen, and he needs to.
Hugh Rimmington for 10 News First.
After weeks of uncertainty and speculation, the AFL season will bounce back into action on June 11. Players will be allowed to start training in groups from Monday, with 4 teams now headed our way.
Gillan McLaughlin must feel as nervous as a recruit who's just been told he's won the Brownlow.
Our 2020 AFL Premiership season will resume on Thursday, June 11.
That's a big mouthful, but the league chief has been dying to say those words for weeks.
We know as this situation continues to evolve, we have to remain agile and flexible to be able to adapt where necessary.
While at least for the first few rounds there'll be no spectators in the stands, fans will likely be cheering today's news as if their team had kicked a winner.
It'll be different seeing no fans in the crowd. It'll be strange for many, but at the same time, I think most fans are very welcoming of the fact the footy's back.
The 4 Western Australian and South Australian clubs will move to a hub on the Gold Coast, and all players and staff will be subject to strict living arrangements.
Each household will be assessed for risk. There'll be restrictions on visitors to households. It's going to require I guess, discipline and resilience from all our players and all our football staff.
But the players say they'll do anything to get back on the field.
We're really excited. It's been a long period for us all, but we're looking forward to it. Very excited, yeah. No, it's been long enough, I think, for everyone. So to have the news today, back at training next week, and games are not too far away as well.
The AFL remains committed to playing the grand final in Victoria and having 4 weeks of finals. So if everything goes to plan, the Premiership decider could be played at the MCG in mid to late October. If the G is unavailable, then the AFL could look to play it across town at Marvel Stadium. AFL creeping into cricket's time. That could be a battle of the ages. But as they say in footy, they're taking it 1 week at a time. Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
They'll travel interstate.
It's less than 2 weeks to go until the NRL kicks off again, and we finally know who's playing who. It may only be 2 rounds, but it's a start. Ros Kelly is at NRL HQ. Ros, the Broncos and the Eels kick it off on Thursday, May 28.
Georgie, it has been almost 8 weeks since the NRL was put on hold, and the revamped season will relaunch with the Broncos hosting the Eels on Thursday, May 28. It is a Queensland derby for Friday night footy, with the Cowboys and Titans going head-to-head before one of the oldest rivalries in rugby league, the Roosters taking on the Rabbitohs. Now, while the NRL is yet to finalise the venues, acting CEO Andrew Abdo promises plenty of drama and entertainment for the remainder of the 17-round season.
I mean, we're all here because our fans love football. The rule changes, the draw, everything is ultimately about the fans, and having big rivalry blockbusters in the first few games back, rounds 3 and 4, is absolutely part of our thinking.
The NRL is still finalising details for State of Origin. It looks to be penciled in for early November, but they will make an announcement later next week. Georgie.
Thank you, Ros, in Sydney. Coming up, the major investigation into a horrifying case of neglect under the eyes of the NDIS. Also, the extradition road trip to deliver an accused killer to Melbourne police. Plus, the Far North Queensland drug operation that's come a cropper. And in sport, former Lions skipper Michael Voss relives the club's 03 AFL premiership.
Who doesn't love a classic apple pie?
Apple pie is very simple. How can I elevate it? I really want to do something that's very theatrical, and I want to blow the judges away.
I'm going down too. I want to go down. Can I see?
Why are you all here? No pressure. It's a lot of pressure. They're watching me. I'm trying to ignore them. I'm just trying to stay calm. I'm feeling a lot of pressure. This dome has to be perfectly done. There's no room for error. Oh! I hear a crack.
The night where another one of your favourites goes. The Bombshell Elimination on 10. Who will go? 7:30 Sunday.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of craving something that I can't have. I finally found the right snack.
We remain dedicated to helping Australians. We've introduced a help program with a range of relief options to assist customers currently in need. Call us to find out how we can tailor help options for you.
Anaconda's Ultimate Snow Gear sale is on now. Adult snow jackets and pants just $49 each, and kids snow jackets and pants only $39 each. Head in store or shop online at anacondastores.com.
Anaconda!
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Palmy on Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Let's hear it for the quitters. In Australia, there are 144 fewer smokers each week, and with Nicorette Quick Mist, you're 2.5 times more likely to succeed. Nicorette, let's do something amazing.
Prepare for your great escape with Jayco. Dealerships are open and ready for your next adventure. With great deals across the entire range, there's an RV for every budget and every adventure. Need finance? We can help with that too. Get ready to escape and visit your local Jayco dealer today.
The Australian government is working hard to keep businesses in business and Australians in jobs. That's why we've introduced the JobKeeper payment. If you're a business severely impacted by the coronavirus, you'll receive a fortnightly payment of $1,500 for each eligible employee to cover their wages. For employees, it will allow millions of Australians to keep their job, including those who've been stood down. To find out more, visit australia.gov.au, authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
When we can all get out of our own backyards, it's time to start enjoying this one.
In a 10 special, we talk to the people and visit the places that remind us why we're so lucky to live in the lucky country. Join us for the Love Australia project, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Well, good afternoon as we head into the weekend after a long working week. Got a couple of prangs to watch out for. This one here on Anzac Avenue, off to that right-hand side heading westbound, just before the Deception Bay Road intersection coming through Rothwell, not causing too much in the way of delays. At the moment, Ipswich Road outbound through Annerley is totally blocked off at Junction Road with this multi-vehicle crash here heading in the outbound direction, and that right turn lane for inbound traffic is blocked as well. It is causing some big delays almost back to the PA Hospital. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Australian Pork. Georgie, another check coming up later. Meantime, it's back to you.
We will see you again soon. Thank you, Dave. Now to the major crime investigation that's underway into how a severely disabled woman was left to literally rot. A carer funded under the NDIS visited the Adelaide home every day, but the victim never spent a minute out of her chair in at least a year.
Anne Smith was found only semi-conscious in her home on April 5, dying in hospital a day later, without even a shred of the dignity any human deserves.
We were able to identify that Anne died in disgusting and degrading circumstances and that her death was most likely preventable.
The outside of her leafy eastern suburbs home was flawless, hiding the horror within.
Living her days and sleeping at night in the same woven cane chair in a lounge room for over a year.
Her wheelchairs were unused in another room. There was no fridge and no food. Even hardened detectives barely able to describe where she lived out her days.
And she's unable to go to the toilet on her own. She's unable to bathe or wash herself. She's unable to feed herself. I'll leave that to everybody's imagination.
The 54-year-old had severe cerebral palsy and had been on her own since her parents died more than a decade ago. She couldn't walk, bathe, feed or dress herself. In 2013, she was placed on an NDIS care plan delivered through a local company in Adelaide. She was funded for 6 hours of care every day of the week, but by the time she made it to hospital, she had septic shock and multi-organ failure.
Where she subsequently underwent major surgery to remove rotting flesh from severe pressure sores on her body.
Records from the care company have been seized and a carer has been interviewed by police, their home searched. Police are also investigating whether Anne's finances were accessed, her death declared a major crime.
It's not so much not a matter of not being found. Every day she has a carer come in. The question for us is, how did Anne become so unwell when she has a full-time carer?
Hannah Ford for 10 News First.
A spokesperson for the NDIS Commission has just confirmed action has been taken in respect of the provider involved. It'll continue to investigate the circumstances of the death which breached the provider's obligations. Captured fugitive Ricardo Barbaro is expected to arrive in Melbourne this evening following his extradition from New South Wales. The 33-year-old was arrested at a Sydney apartment yesterday and is being transported to Victoria My Road. He spent 10 days on the run after police discovered the body of his girlfriend Ellie Price in her South Melbourne home. Barbaro is expected to face court tomorrow. Police have busted a cannabis farm growing in far north Queensland. Officers raided the home at Gelatin near Port Douglas where they discovered the crop. They found 33 mature plants, bags of dried cannabis and an array of other drug paraphernalia. A 41-year-old man will front court in July on multiple drug charges. An artificial intelligence program that's helping couples conceive through IVF is being put through its paces. A major trial of the embryo selection tool is underway to determine if it's better at the job than humans.
A path to parenthood powered by artificial intelligence. Sunshine Coast couple Sarah and Tim Keys wanted to boost their odds of a successful pregnancy, having endured 2 traumatic miscarriages.
We decided that anything we could do that would reduce the chance of miscarriages and complications would be really helpful.
The couple turned to IVF and put their faith in a machine to choose the embryo that had the best chance of growing into a baby. It worked. Sarah is now 6 months pregnant.
We're very excited. We're expecting a little girl. Yeah, it's great.
The technique involves growing embryos in an incubator fitted with time-lapse cameras. A high-tech AI software program sifts through the thousands of images produced by the cameras, crunches the data and decides which embryo is healthiest.
It will actually get smarter the more information it has. The more patients we feed into it, the more different scenarios it has, the more robust the system actually becomes.
Fertility experts believe it's more accurate than the human eye. They want to prove it by embarking on a global trial, the largest of its kind in the world.
We're looking at recruiting about 1,000 patients into this, and that will tell us whether or not the system performs as good or better than our embryologists.
If the machine wins out, it could reduce the time it takes for women to fall pregnant, meaning fewer rounds of costly IVF. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
Well, time for an early weather check, Josh. A sunny end to the working week.
Oh, it was an absolute cracker across southeast Queensland for Friday afternoon. Some beautiful temperatures after a coolish start this morning. The mercury dipping down to around about 7 degrees in places like Ipswich. But the clear skies this afternoon, all due to this area of high pressure sitting across southeastern Australia. We've had some light onshore winds along the coastal fringe, and as a result, around about 1 to 3 millimetres falling around parts of the Cassowary coast. But it was clear across the southeast and beautiful temperatures of 24 recorded in the city, right on average for this time of year. We hit 23 at the sunny coast today, 25 at the Gold Coast, a very nice 24 at Caboolture and Logan, 1 degree better at Ipswich, reaching 25. After that, 7 degree minimum this morning, and Toowoomba reached 21 for Friday afternoon. Of course, the weekend is fast approaching. Will the sunny skies last? Georgie, all those details coming up 5 to 6.
We'll find out then. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, the insider trading probe that's claimed a high-profile scalp in the US. Also, the corona concern facing the government, and it could impact any one of us. And Amal Clooney takes centre stage at a parliamentary inquiry in Canberra.
With so many deliciously easy recipes to try, you'll never get bored when there's pork on your fork.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
For the first time in a MasterChef elimination.
You're going to cook head to head against the person next to you.
What? I really want to do something that's very theatrical.
Reynolds!
And I want to blow the judges away.
The night where another one of your favourites goes.
I'm feeling a lot of pressure.
The Bombshell Elimination, 7:30 Sunday.
Introducing BP Rewards. Now you can earn points with every BP purchase. BP Rewards. Use BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards. BP Rewards.
Or you can choose to earn Qantas points.
Now that's what I call BP Rewards.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. BP Rewards. Your rewards, your way.
As a proud Australian company, Andersons are keeping it real with our first ever Australian-made sale, supporting our local manufacturers. For a limited time, you'll save 20% off the entire range of premium Australian-made floor coverings and window furnishings store-wide. We have stock ready for your home, rental property or business. So call Andersons today for a free, safe in-home design consultation. Now that's a real deal.
With RACQ Home and Contents Insurance, you know you're covered for damage from storm, fire, flood and theft. There's more for members of RACQ. Buy online now and save up to $75.
A third-generation butcher, born and bred. Pop's traditional recipes, Philly's Head. His award-winning sausages are so sublime, you can enjoy these beauties anytime. The British Sausage, Ham and Bacon Company. Australian-made the British way.
Dear mind, you're a decent bloke. You'll be there till the job is done. But you need to be there for yourself too. Slow down. Appreciate some me time. And the little things, like the sound of laughter. But above all, learn to love the bloke everyone else loves so much. Take care me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
BSI!
So BS responsibly with Sportsbet. We'll be watching.
Woolworths online shopping is back for all customers. We have thousands of extra delivery and pickup windows now open to serve even more customers. Visit woolworths.com.au and start shopping today.
That feels especially true, given what's going on. It is good to know that our super will help us and our economy bounce back. And if you're with one of these, your super is invested in things that create jobs and keep Aussie businesses strong, delivering good long-term returns that benefit all of us. After all,
we're all in this together.
Sandra Oh and Stanley Tucci join Graham Norton for a night of 5-star fun.
I've got goosebumps.
8:30 tonight on 10.
You're watching 10 News First. The Prime Minister has flagged domestic travel could hopefully be back on the cards by the July school holidays. But as Australia starts to reopen, our leaders are concerned about another health challenge.
Life may appear to be slowly returning to normal. In some states, cafes and restaurants have started opening their doors.
And I want to commend them for that brave step that they're taking this weekend. Good on you for reopening.
But our leaders are worried about the next health crisis brought on by the pandemic.
All of these pressures which come with the pandemic have created specific mental health challenges,
such as heightened loneliness in isolation and stress caused by job losses and finances.
We do need to look at things such as risky behaviour that so many of us engaging in to try and cope with the pandemic, those health issues associated with substance use and substance abuse, gambling.
The federal government has committed an extra $48 million in additional support. Moving forward, they're concerned about suicide rates.
It is heartening to look at those figures and to say it hasn't got worse. That doesn't mean it couldn't get worse.
Because these things can build up, they can brew, people can dwell. And so we want to get ahead of the curve.
The National Cabinet has also agreed to fully reopen elective surgery.
The boom is going up on elective surgery all around the country. That will be done, of course, at the pace that states set. But that will be welcome particularly to the private health industry.
With yesterday's figures revealing nearly 600,000 Australians have lost their jobs in this pandemic, the National Cabinet's aim now is to get as many people back into work as soon and safely as possible.
Some $220 billion in loan deferrals have already been put in place in our banking system, about 2/3 of that in mortgages and 1/3 for small and medium-sized enterprises.
International travel remains off the cards for the foreseeable future, but for those still returning,
you can't test your way out of quarantine, unfortunately.
Tegan George for 10 News First.
People have headed back to work in Moscow despite the city and Russia still reporting daily infections in the thousands. President Vladimir Putin has declared the 6-week national lockdown over and ordered millions back to their jobs. Russia has more than 250,000 cases, but only reported 2,300 deaths, which many believe is dramatically under the real toll. An insider trading scandal has forced the head of America's powerful Senate Intelligence Committee to stand down. Richard Burr's phone has been seized by the FBI and his home raided after it was discovered he sold more than $1 million in stocks just after a coronavirus briefing. At least 4 other senators are also facing questions. High-profile human rights lawyer Amal Clooney has given evidence at a parliamentary inquiry into laws banning international criminals from Australia. The world-renowned barrister and wife of Hollywood star George Clooney appeared by video link from Los Angeles to voice her support for sanctions against human rights abusers.
So far, only 3 states, the US, Canada and the UK, have robust global powers to impose targeted sanctions on human rights grounds. I think it's time that Australia joined the club.
The law being considered would allow Australia to name and shame people linked to breaches of international law or corruption and freeze their assets here. Well, stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, the Brisbane brothers who were down and out now flying high thanks to a business reboot. And a Curious Critters break and enter that proved a little prickly to pull off.
Follow the stories of these lovable pooches as they go from abandoned to adopted to adored. So, who's your good boy?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
The brand new series The Doghouse premieres tomorrow on 10.
Right now, at ANZ, we know that many Australians need a little more support to stay on top of their money, which is why we're working hard to support the financial well-being of our customers. So, if you're looking to ease the pressures of your home loan, you need support through the ups and downs of business, or if you need a hand sorting your banking from home, we're here for you and ready to help. For more information on how to get back on top of things, visit anz.com.
For stepping up in tough times, for doing the little things, for keeping your distance and your sense of humour, for the courage you've shown and protecting your community. Thanks, Australia. The changes to stop the coronavirus aren't easy, but they're working. Keep going. And don't forget to download the COVID Safe app today. Together, we're stopping the spread. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Looking to maintain strong bones? Try Ostalin from Chemist Warehouse. Ostalin Calcium and Vitamin D3 helps to maintain muscle and bone strength. Ostalin 300 value packs are $24.99 each. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
Supporting people with a disability is very close to my heart, and now I'm asking you to help too. This year, Endeavour Foundation is celebrating 69 years of helping people with a disability live their best lives. Help by buying a ticket in their June lottery to win this brand new $1 million prize home on the Sunshine Coast. This fully furnished 4-bed, 3-bath home comes with a beautiful pool, fire pit and $10,000 cashable gold. So buy your ticket at endeavourlotteries.com.au.
Outside, it's something to look at. But inside, it's a space to be. A space we fit our lives into. A space that brings us closer. That spans generations. Where we go to let go. In a Mazda, this space is 100 years in the making. And summed up in 2 words. Zoom, zoom.
Amy has always helped Australians get back on the road. But now, more than ever, it's vital those on the front line get to where they need to be. That's why we're now offering free roadside assist to all doctors, nurses, hospital staff and first responders Australia-wide until the end of the year. Amy and non-Amy customers. Here's to supporting the everyday heroes who are supporting the rest of us. To take advantage of this offer, go to amy.com.au.
Lucky you're with Amy.
When your hair's not weighed down, you can do the day. Introducing new Pantene 0% silicone. Unlike silicone found in ordinary shampoos, new Pantene has nourishing lipids. The difference is clear. New Pantene 0% silicone formula gives you lightweight, smooth hair that lasts through to the next day. Do 0% silicone. Do new Pantene.
Apple pie. Send the dessert king home. The bombshell elimination. Sunday.
Hello again as we wrap things up tonight. About 2.5 hours ago in Corinda, a cement mixer rolled over on Walker Street through Corinda. Now it's still blocked off at both ends. The truck's actually been taken away, but still the mixer part is lying there on the footpath. Doesn't look like that's going anywhere anytime soon. The road is still blocked off in both directions. Got a good run up the Gateway this afternoon, and the run on the Bruce Highway at this stage is looking a little bit busy heading up through Burpengary. There was a little crash there earlier. Didn't last for too long, and some delays there as you make your way up towards Caboolture. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Australian Pork. Have yourself a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.
Tonight's top stories, more than 70 people are in quarantine after a Rockhampton aged care nurse tested positive to COVID-19. She was working unwell for 12 days and is now in isolation. Queensland businesses about to reopen their doors under the stage 1 easing of restrictions, but authorities are warning us to be extra cautious. And the US and China locked in a war of words after Donald Trump threatened to sever their relationship. In return, they've called him a giant baby. From flying high to out of business, the future was looking bleak for two Brisbane brothers after their dream crashed along with Virgin Airlines. But then an unlikely rescuer came on board.
Daniel and David Rifkin want to change a bad Aussie habit. A third of us, always in a rush, regularly skip breakfast.
We're going to change breakfast as we know it. If you knew breakfast, it has become so much better.
Virgin Airlines were quickly on board, securing exclusive access to the brothers' product line of brekkie bars, trail mixes, dips, popcorn and chocolate for passengers who'd probably skip breakfast.
And we had even created a new menu, so we had 12 new products that were going to be launched in April.
Virgin's plummet into voluntary administration changed all that.
We got a call on a Sunday evening and we're going into manufacture the next day across multiple Australian factories.
Come to the realisation that we don't have a business overnight.
As that door slammed, another suddenly opened into a new long-term deal with Coles, who'll have the Do Good products on shelves in a fortnight.
They saved us.
Yeah.
How do you think they'll sell?
I think they'll sell really well, especially with our coffee.
True to the company's name, Do Good Labs. Even the brekkie bar packaging has Do Good, Feel Good messages on the back like, be a kind human and we're in this together. That's an appropriate one right now. A sizable chunk of the company's profits will also flow into a number of mental health charities.
Because mental health is such a silent epidemic and they're doing such great research and awareness.
And perfect motivation to never skip breakfast again. Tim Collins for 10 News First.
A prickly visitor has poked and prodded his way into a Sunshine Coast home. Novak nudged open a screen door and waited politely before deciding he did indeed want to come in. The homeowner, a wildlife carer, says the echidna usually restricts his roaming to the backyard. She's been caring for him since he was found on the side of the road earlier this year. Novak will be released back into the wild once he's recovered. Well, it is sport time, Jono. The Gold Coast will soon be flooded with AFL teams.
They will. Plenty of people will be happy about that, Georgie. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Coming up, the AFL gives the South East Queensland hub the green light. So, how will it play out? Details are next. We're now less than a fortnight away from the NRL's restart and the Broncos will kick it all off. And on the move again, Dan Ricciardo signs with a new Formula One team from next season and his current boss isn't happy.
So many deliciously easy recipes to try, you'll never get bored when there's pork on your fork.
Singer-songwriter Missy Higgins joins us tonight, 6:30.
Have we got a sweet must-see Monday for you?
Good to hear.
At 7:30, it's the sweet and savoury mistake no one sees coming. Then these stars are bringing sweet lockdown laughs.
I'm doing a lot of online shopping. Oh, like a one-woman stimulus package, which coincidentally is something I ordered.
That's must-see Monday. Sweet.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it, clap, clap. Alright, so clap it back. Hey, hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
At Terry White ChemMart, we're more than just open. We're open to helping any way we can. With click and collect for your scripts and health essentials. Terry White ChemMart. Now that's real chemistry.
Queensland, our strong health response to COVID-19 means we're well positioned for a strong economic response. We've already lifted some restrictions, but our road to recovery will take time. And while a return to work will be phased, supporting our economy starts now with infrastructure investment, tax relief packages, and all of us supporting local business. For more information, visit the COVID-19 website. Let's work together and back Queensland jobs. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
So BS responsibly with Sportsbet. We'll be watching.
Are you ready for over 50s designer resort style living, but are having trouble selling your home? At Palm Lake Resort, let us take the stress out of selling. We'll buy your home so you can start your new lifestyle today.
We had a phone call from Palm Lake with the most amazing offer. They offered to take our home from us and we could have this home up here. It was our dreams come true. It's unbelievable.
Sell your home stress-free and save money with no agent fees or commission. We'll even pay for your removal costs.
As soon as we walked in and looking at the homes, looking at the facilities, looking at how your lifestyle could be, like what more can you want?
This special offer is for a limited time only. So contact us today to arrange a free appraisal. Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
Now's a great time to sort your health cover with NIB. Join any combined hospital and extras cover online by June 30 and you'll get a virtual Visa e-gift card valued up to $400. Join NIB today. It's worth it.
Glorious beef eye fillets are now just $19.99 a kilo at Aldi. It's high-end steak without the high-end price. Oh, how dare you animals. Aldi, good, different.
Sandra Oh and Stanley Tucci join Graham Norton for a night of 5-star fun.
I've got goosebumps.
8:30 tonight on 10.
Welcome back. The South East Queensland AFL Hub is officially on, with all 4 Adelaide and Perth teams set to call the Gold Coast home. While they'll face strict testing, they will be allowed to see their families, a move that's been applauded league-wide.
After a week of delays, Adelaide and Perth's AFL teams finally have some clarity.
They'll be based on the Gold Coast for an initial period of at least 4 weeks.
Given its proximity to Metricon Stadium, the Pines Resort will host West Coast and Fremantle. The Crows and Power will call the Mercure at Palm Meadows home.
The economic input to our city would be in excess of $5 million.
The major stumbling block to the hub idea in recent weeks has come from players refusing to face extended periods of time away from loved ones.
Players will be able to host family members at any stage during the time away from home, which will be funded by the AFL.
I've got to say the AFL in this period of time worked incredibly hard to try and make it as good as they possibly can for us.
A complete quarantined lockdown inside the resorts may not be as tight as initially thought.
I can see in their days of not training, going out and playing golf, going to the surf.
They'll be tested twice a week, every week of training and then every week of the playing season.
Eagles and Dockers players will complete their pre-seasons in Perth before heading north in the lead-up to the game's return.
I'd anticipate we take off a bit earlier than we would in a normal away game to acclimatise as a group.
The Lions and Suns are the big winners. They'll play the 4 interstate teams in the first month of the season without having to leave home.
4 very good sides from those states, so just because we play them here in Brisbane doesn't mean it's going to be any easier for us.
The remaining fixtures will be released in the coming weeks, also to be split into 4 to 6 week blocks.
I feel confident that how we start is not how we will finish.
But at least the COVID finish line is finally in sight. Josh McLean for 10 News First.
The Broncos will kick off the NRL restart with a Thursday night clash against the Eels on May 28th. Queensland's NRL teams won't leave the state for the first 2 weeks, with Suncorp Stadium expected to host the bulk of the fixtures.
13 days before kick-off, finally some clarity.
It just allows everyone to get their head around what we're actually doing. For a long time there was so many things that were unknown. There was a lot of questions that people couldn't answer.
There's answers for rounds 3 and 4 at least. The Broncos open the season restart against the team that thrashed them 58-0 in the finals last year, while the Cowboys and Titans face off in a Queensland derby the following day. It doesn't get any easier for Brisbane in round 4, taking on the reigning premiers. The Cowboys host the Sharks and Titans play the Tigers. But just where in Queensland they'll run out remains a work in progress.
The stadiums will be rationalised, but the principles for where we'll be playing will be driven by security protocols and, of course, financial and logistical constraints.
The full draw will be confirmed on Thursday, including the dates of State of Origin, expected to be 3 Wednesdays in November, but not their location.
And whether or not we'll be able to have crowds at those games. So that will be something that we'll consider and be quite adaptive to later in the year.
Despite saying he was pro-choice on social media last week, Bryce Cartwright was tight-lipped on his return to Titans training today.
No, I won't be making any comments today.
Back on the field after being granted a medical exemption from the flu shot, the government denying the decision was a win for anti-vaxxers.
Absolutely not, no. He had a contraindication. If someone has a medical contraindication, of course we're not going to require them to be vaccinated.
A rule that now applies to the whole competition.
Players that haven't been vaccinated or don't have a medical exemption for vaccination won't be permitted to play in Queensland.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
Media executive Hamish McLennan is the new chairman of Rugby Australia. The former Network 10 boss and News Corp exec will take over from interim chairman and former Wallaby Paul McLean. His immediate focus will be a broadcast deal with a revamped Super Rugby competition and a successful bid to host the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Well, a $14 million financial rescue package just landed from World Rugby. Renault's team boss has accused the departing Daniel Ricciardo of disloyalty after he signed with McLaren. Ricciardo preferred to praise his current drive on social media, saying, "I'm so grateful for my time at Renault F1 team and the way I was accepted into the team. But we aren't done and I can't wait to get back on the grid this year. My next chapter isn't here yet, so let's finish this one strong. Merci." The Aussie replaces Carlos Sainz at McLaren, who succeeds Sebastian Vettel at Ferrari. In 2003, the Lions cemented their place as one of the game's most incredible teams by claiming a rare three-peat. But as Michael Voss remembers, the season was a wild ride of ups and downs in this week's Moment in Time.
27th of September 2003.
Gee, we were focused on that day. We hit that grand final in physical and mental peak.
On the brink of something great, Jason Ackermanis goes to town.
Their third cup as convincing as you'll see, but the path there certainly wasn't. When captain Michael Voss had knee surgery mid-season, the team lost 5 out of 7 matches, sparking talk of the dreaded premiership hangover.
We probably did drop the ball there a little bit and teams come for you.
It meant a tricky qualifying final in Melbourne against a Collingwood team hell-bent on revenge, and the club's only finals loss of the entire three-peat era.
Gave us confidence that if we were to happen to get into Collingwood again, that we wouldn't play that badly twice.
Sure enough, they'd square off again in 3 weeks' time, but the lead-up was made tougher when Ackermanis let slip on radio Nigel Lappin had broken ribs.
Probably the same response I had when Acker came out with things like that. Like what for?
I never drank coffee till I met Lee. Man, almost had the shakes. I had that many coffees one day. That's how much trouble I was in.
His time at the club was as good as done, with Lappin now in the Magpies' crosshairs.
And no doubt he'll be saying, how your ribs going?
Only one thing could save him.
Jason Ackermanis! He is a menace with 5 goals!
All I will say is that I'm pretty happy he kicked his 5.
There's not too many blokes that play on a wing that kick 5 goals in a grand final that don't win Norm Smith medals, but someone had to play really well.
That someone was Simon Black.
On his favoured side, left foot kick is right through the middle.
Adding a Norm Smith to his Brownlow the year before.
And we got the best out of ourselves, and you've got to make hay when the sun shines.
For 3 magical years, the team did just that, as we end on one final moment in time, led by the captain.
You little beauty!
Josh McLean for 10 News First.
What a great era that was. So much fun to relive it.
The golden years. I always remember him saying that. Thanks, Jono. Will it be a sunny weekend? Josh has the full forecast after the break.
Stick around for Tommy's Legends of Lockdown next.
When we can all get out of our own backyards, it's time to start enjoying this one.
In a 10 special, we talk to the people and visit the places that remind us why we're so lucky to live in the lucky country. Join us for the Love Australia project, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get $4 odds for either Georgina or Santa and Elaine to win the Goodwood. PointsBet.
Looking for an effective answer to wrinkles and dark spots? Try Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Regenerating Cream from Chemist Warehouse. Clinically proven to help smoothen fine lines and fade the look of dark spots. Pair together with Rapid Wrinkle Repair Retinol Oil for twice the wrinkle-fighting power. It works throughout the night to intensely nourish and replenish dry skin. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Regenerating Cream is $24.49 at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Your next royal TV show obsession.
I'm married to an idiot. God himself spat me forth for greatness. Why does he make you a woman then? For comedy.
The brand new series, The Great, premieres tomorrow only on Stan.
Dear mind, you're so good at caring for everyone else. But caring for you is important too. So take time to lose yourself in a book. And in the moment, learn something new. But above all, be kind to yourself. All my love, me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane. At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. The more you spend on 60 months interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card. Shop for laptops, phones, TVs, fridges, washers, ovens, lounges, beds, flooring and so much more. Shop in our spacious stores or online. We're practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500 now at Harvey Norman. Hurry, offer ends Tuesday.
Go! To help you get the most from the post, we've chartered 8 extra freighter flights to help deliver the more than 2 million parcels we're processing every day. For more, visit Ozpost online, and on behalf of everyone at Australia Post, thank you for your patience.
Let's do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Rose Hill, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Hester is a super fund that supports people whose work helps others. Their stories inspire us to give them a stronger financial future and a better world to retire into. It's our way of saying thank you.
Will an apple pie send the dessert king home? The bombshell elimination, Sunday.
Hollywood game changer Reese Witherspoon.
Girls, I'm going to Harvard.
Road trip! How she's boldly going where few have gone before. Raw.
Sometimes I'm totally overwhelmed.
Real.
I'll lay on the floor and cry.
Like you've rarely seen her.
Plus, Diesel is live Monday on Studio 10.
It is weather time. How's the weekend shaping up, Josh?
Georgie, looking very nice indeed across parts of southeast Queensland, although we could see a shower along the coastal fringe thanks to some onshore winds. But we'll look at that in detail in a moment. Firstly, happy Friday to you at home today. Well, it was a cracker outside, that is for sure. 24 the top, and that was right on average for this time of year after an overnight low of 13. A little bit cooler for areas like Ipswich, dipping down to around about 7 degrees earlier today. Right now, though, we're sitting on 20 in the city, humidity at 41%, so quite dry, and the winds are relatively light at 9 kilometres per hour. Diving into the satellite tonight, we can see those clear skies across the southeast today here reflected on the satellite picture. A little bit of cloud up around areas of the northeast tropical coast. Now, thanks to those onshore winds, a few showers today around parts of the Cassowary coast, although only relatively light falls of between 1 to 3 millimetres for most parts. A little bit further south, we've had some showers continue along the New South Wales coast and a bit of low cloud breezing in and over the southern parts of South Australia, Victoria and southern New South Wales. But looking into the big picture tomorrow, here we go. Here's our high pressure system. It's slowly shifting in that easterly fashion. We've got a cold front approaching Tasmania and also an inland trough through parts of Queensland. This won't really stir up any showers or thunderstorms as we get through tomorrow. The main feature certainly the onshore winds once again being produced by this high in the Tasman, and as a result we'll see some showers in particular around areas of the northeast tropical coast. But I just want to throw you out what we're looking at next week. Now we are expecting a trough to deepen across inland parts of Queensland. Now if you need the rain at your place, it could be quite fruitful. We're expecting some decent falls Thursday, Friday and even Saturday next week. It is some days away yet, but some of the computer forecasting models are going for falls of between 50 to 100 millimetres in some areas, so we'll certainly be keeping you up to date through the next week on that. But in the meantime, tomorrow, here are those showers on the eastern coastline tomorrow, in particular as mentioned up around areas of the northeast tropical coast and the adjacent inland, possibly making it to the Atherton Tablelands. And there is a slight chance of a shower as well along the exposed parts of the southern coast as we get through Saturday, although for southeast Queensland I'm not expecting too much rain into the gauges. Moving interstate and Sydney, top temperatures for Saturday of 19 degrees, chance of a shower tomorrow. Chilly starting Canberra, down to 1 overnight, 15 through the afternoon. Fine and sunny skies for Melbourne, Hobart and Adelaide, and partly cloudy for Perth with a top of 22. Chance of a shower as mentioned for Cairns and Atherton tomorrow. Should be dry for Townsville at 28 degrees. Partly cloudy for Mackay and a beautiful day for Rocky, hitting 27 degrees for Saturday. Just a slight chance of a shower for Maryborough. Into the southeast, partly cloudy. The high chance of showers along that coastal fringe and the chance of a storm about the Moreton Bay Islands. Apart from that, it should be dry. Overnight temperatures falling to between 9 and 14 degrees. Daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. Now, this is Burleigh earlier today. Some beautiful waves on offer for the board riders. In fact, some sets getting up to around about that 2 metre mark. Now, it won't let you down this weekend. On the Golden Sunshine Coast Saturday, swell will be easterly up to 1.5 metres with winds from the southeast. Now, as we get to Sunday, swell will be again from the east at 1.5 metres with those winds south to southeasterly. Those waves absolutely amazing today. Moving on to the bay for Saturday, southerly winds up to around about 25 knots and the seas 1.5 metres. Sea surface temperatures, if you are heading to the beach tomorrow, around about 24 degrees. For Brisbane City, a partly cloudy day for tomorrow, tops off 24 right on average for this time of year. Not looking too bad Sunday, but then the winds tend a little bit more onshore next week, and as a result we could see some showers start to eventuate from Monday, Tuesday and then into Wednesday. For Ipswich, well, it looks like a nice weekend. Tops of 25 degrees, same mark on Monday, and the chance of a shower increases Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, don't go anywhere. The extended forecast of the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
A nursing home nightmare that just keeps getting worse as we go to where the number of people in quarantine grows after a nurse went to work unwell and ended up testing positive to COVID-19. We're live with the latest on this developing situation. Tread with caution, the word of warning as restrictions get set to ease from the stroke of midnight. And deadline done, bidding submissions close for Virgin as 8 major players emerge in the race to buy the airline. We have concerning new details now about the coronavirus case at a Rockhampton nursing home. Let's go straight to John Paul Gonzo. JP, dozens of close contacts have now been identified.
Georgie, authorities are right now working with more than 70 people who have been exposed to the nurse. All of them are in quarantine. Queensland Health will be keeping an extremely close eye on their symptoms over the coming days. 23 residents and 8 staff members have tested negative so far. This nurse was infectious from May 3. She started showing symptoms 2 days later and continued working. She only went into home quarantine last night when that test came back positive. It's understood she has a mild case and contracted the virus during a flight. She travelled between Brisbane and Rockhampton. Extra medical staff have been sent north. A specialist doctor will manage the health response. The facility is now in lockdown.
So we've already had some results back from those people who were a little bit more concerned about because they did have some suggestive symptoms and they've been negative. So we've not had any positive results yet from any of the testing that started last night.
Because this nurse also spent time in the community, anyone in Rockhampton who is showing coronavirus symptoms is being ordered to get tested. How far and how quickly it has spread will become clearer in the coming days when more of those test results come back. Georgie?
Thank you, John Paul, with that update. Well, let's return now to Claire Barnes at State Parliament. We're all being told to be extra cautious ahead of restrictions easing at midnight, Claire.
Now, that's mine, the topic. Yes.
Yeah, Georgie, and it's what the Chief Health Officer has been warning us for some time. If you're sick, stay home. And this comes as many businesses prepare to throw open their doors again from tomorrow as part of Stage 1 restrictions. It means places like cafes, restaurants and beauty salons will be limited to 10 people at a time. You can go on a day trip of up to 150 kilometres from home, but police say they will still be patrolling places like beaches, parks, playgrounds and shopping centres.
People, I think, get to the point where they think, oh, it's over, now we can return back to normal. It's not over.
It is even more important now as we're opening up these restrictions for people, if they're sick, to stay at home, but also to get tested as well.
So, Georgie, a few more freedoms this weekend, including a sit-down coffee at a cafe.
Thank you, Claire. On the Gold Coast, businesses are going to extreme lengths to ensure they're ready to reopen safely. For the first time in more than a month, out-of-towners will be welcome. But as Matthew Howard explains, any breaking of the rules won't be tolerated.
Here at Pacific Fair in Broadbeach, business is fast returning to normal. From tomorrow, eateries and beauty salons can reopen, joining the nearly 300 other stores that have continued trading. As the Gold Coast's largest shopping centre, they've rolled out extra security and cleaning services to maintain social distancing restrictions and ensure the safety of staff and customers.
We've been working very closely with them to make sure that they understand what the requirements are and that they know how to meet them.
In Surface Paradise, Shiraz Persian Restaurant has enlisted cleaners to decontaminate every surface with a food-safe chemical that can last up to 30 days ahead of their reopening. It's just one of dozens of businesses employing the service to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
We've seen an enormous increase in the amount of people that have contacted us.
The restaurant is booked out tomorrow with limits of only 10 customers at a time, yet staff say they're still confused about the rules and how they'll be enforced.
Does that count the alfresco or not? But for now, we're just going to go ahead with the 10 people.
Police have warned they'll be conducting extra patrols to move on large gatherings and issue fines for breaches in eateries and in public.
For an individual, it's a fine of $1,334, and for a business, it's a fine of over $6,500.
With driving limits increased, Mayor Tom Tate says his northern neighbours are welcome, but will still need to maintain their distance.
Gold Coast are very friendly, but this time we're being friendly at 1.5 metres away.
Authorities are urging people to be patient and to consider going elsewhere if crowds start to build to avoid a return to tougher restrictions.
US President Donald Trump has threatened to cut all ties with China over the coronavirus outbreak, a move he claims would save $500 billion. Speaking on Fox News, he said the relationship was so bad with the Chinese president, he didn't even want to speak with him.
We could cut off the whole relationship. Now, if you did, what would happen? You'd save $500 billion.
China has responded by calling the president a giant baby on the brink of a breakdown. The most promising news yet for loyal Virgin customers arrived today, with the rewards program taking bookings from September onwards. It comes as a key deadline has just expired for bidders wanting to snap up the airline. Here's National Affairs Editor Hugh Riminton.
As so often these days for people working in the aviation industry, there are mixed signals. The good news today is that the first preliminary propositions by those people who are wanting to buy Virgin, well, their ideas are now with the administrator. The administrator says there are several very serious proposals available to them now for refloating the airline. The Virgin workforce are creditors in that process. Their main union says their priority is that the new buyer will back a full-service airline and be there for the long haul.
These bidders commit to staying with this asset, this good Virgin asset, for a long period, so we don't get private equity funds cutting and running.
But there are new concerns for many who rely on the airline industry. Thousands who work in airport security and airline catering, they are now out of work, and many are missing out on JobKeeper payments because they're employed by foreign-owned companies that are not allowed into the JobKeeper scheme.
I was born in Australia, I grew up in Australia, I work in Australia, and I pay taxes. Why am I and the people I work with not getting access to JobKeeper?
Josh Frydenberg can fix this with a stroke of a pen. And he needs to.
That is one of many anomalies in the JobKeeper scheme, which is now being relied on by 6 million Australians as their main source of income. In other news for Virgin, it remains the case that the new buyer of the airline should be known by the end of June, and a very promising sign today with the Virgin rewards system saying that flights can be booked using those Virgin points from September. You can start booking them today for flights from September.
The timing couldn't be better as we warm to the idea of domestic travel restarting. To help plan a holiday, a 2-day live stream of Australia's best destinations and experiences is hoping to revive a long-suffering industry.
This is the man who helps Chris Hemsworth look like this. And after a live-streamed workout tomorrow from Byron Bay, you could too.
Look, I can't say that your face is going to look like Chris Hemsworth, but your body is definitely going to be closer to looking like Chris Hemsworth. He's a good-looking man.
This personal training session is kicking off a 2-day adventure around the country. Starting tonight on Network 10, Live from Oz will stream the best of our homegrown places and faces to get Aussies planning their next trip when coronavirus restrictions ease.
People will venture out of their houses and maybe do day trips, some local overnight trips before going interstate.
On the hour, every hour, viewers watching the stream will be transported to 32 locations, from a living room kids' dance party
Hi, we're the Wiggles
to the top end, where there are crocs to be wrangled.
We might come and catch up with Otis.
Oak Ridge Winery is taking care of Saturday lunch from Victoria's Yarra Valley.
Just having a look around for some herbs to dry for our cheese making class.
Last year, international travellers spent about $45 billion seeing Australia, and we spent almost as much on overseas holidays. But with international travel ruled out for the foreseeable future, that's money that can be spent at home.
Now that's up for grabs for Australian domestic tourism operators.
A welcome chance to explore our own backyard. Sydney Pede for 10 News First.
Coming up, why Amal Clooney thinks Australia could be a global leader in human rights. Also, jail for 2 carjackers who took an elderly dementia patient on a terrifying ride on the Sunshine Coast. Plus, the explosion that shifted Germany further away from nuclear power. And in sport, Titan Bryce Cartwright returns to training without the flu shot.
AFL's back, but not quite as you know it. Plus, Tommy's rated Aussie lounge rooms for the greatest legends of lockdown. 6:30.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of dinner with some of the key ingredients for Texan-style beef and black bean chilli. Like Coles No Added Hormones Beef Chuck Casserole Steak, down to just $14 a kilo. Save $2. Coles Real Beef Stock 1 litre, $1.90 every day. And Edgell Black Beans 400 grams, down to just $1.50. Find this recipe and more at coles.com.au. Lower the cost of your dinner at Coles. Good things, great value.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. The more you spend on 60 months interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card. Shop for laptops, phones, TVs, fridges, washers, ovens, lounges, beds, flooring and so much more. Shop in our spacious stores or online. We're practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500 now at Harvey Norman. Hurry, offer ends Tuesday.
Go! Chloe and Zoe are twins and Amy customers, so you have the same taste.
We both like our crafted cushions and finished faux fur. We love our HD, LED, LCD, 4K, pixel TVs.
Do you choose to save now or later on your insurance?
Later.
Buy a home or car insurance policy and Amy Flexi Premiums lets you vary your excess to save now or later. Choose a higher excess to save now or choose a lower excess to save at claim time.
You're with Amy.
Anaconda's ultimate snow gear sale is on now. Adult snow jackets and pants just $49 each, and kids snow jackets and pants only $39 each. Head in store or shop online at anacondastores.com.
Anaconda!
At Nature's Own, we know that fatigue can be either physical or mental. Nature's Own sleep and energy range can help you improve the quality of your sleep or support energy production throughout your day.
You better talk!
Nature's Own. Be body smart.
Well, I think he's a gorgeous man, but his hair bothered him. And it bothered me that it bothered him.
So he booked the appointment.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley & Martin could help regrow your hair.
At IGA, you'll find great specials this week, like Peter's Drumstick 4 to 6 pack varieties, only $4.20 each. That's half price. And Dynamo Professional Laundry Liquid 1.8 litre varieties, also half price. Great specials at your local IGA.
To help you get the most from the post during these difficult times, we've set up 15 temporary facilities to help deliver the 2 million parcels we're currently processing every day. For more, visit Ozpost online, and thank you for your patience.
Bananas, nature's non-stop energy snack that even help put you in a good mood. Hey, they're shaped like a smile for a reason.
Technically, they're also shaped like a frown.
Technically, a frown's just an upside-down smile. Aussie fruit, veg and nuts, the good mood food.
When we can all get out of our own backyards, it's time to start enjoying this one. In a 10 special, we talk to the people and visit the places that remind us why we're so lucky to live in the lucky country. Join us for the Love Australia project, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Two men at the centre of a terrifying carjacking have been jailed. They'd stolen an aged care provider's van with an elderly dementia patient still inside. The pair then led police on a 70-minute chase around the Sunshine Coast. Dean Richards and Jared Strafford pleaded guilty to 25 charges between them. Strafford could be eligible for parole in 2 months, while Richards could be out in May next year. High-profile barrister Amal Clooney has told politicians in Canberra Australia could be a global leader in human rights. The wife of Hollywood star George Clooney appeared before a parliamentary hearing into laws which would ban international criminals from our shores.
Beaming live from Los Angeles into a committee room in Canberra.
Good. Can I ask you to state your name and the capacity in which you appear today?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Amal Clooney. I'm a barrister at Doughty Street Chambers in London, and I am the Deputy Chair of the high-level panel of legal experts.
Hardly in need of an introduction, the high-profile human rights lawyer and wife of Hollywood star George Clooney, proving nobody's immune from pesky technical difficulties.
We still can't hear you. Maybe your microphone is muted. I'm trying to read your lips and it sounds like you're saying that it isn't.
With audio up and running.
Apologies for the technical difficulties in joining you.
The world-renowned barrister made her position known on an important subject.
I support the proposal that Australia should adopt a new law allowing for targeted sanctions against human rights abusers.
The inquiry before Federal Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee is looking into laws banning international criminals from Australia.
Yet so far, only 3 states, the US, Canada and the UK, have robust global powers to impose targeted sanctions on human rights grounds. I think it's time that Australia joined the club.
Amal Clooney told the hearing the global health crisis we're facing has only exacerbated human rights issues around the world, explaining that abuse thrives when nobody's watching.
In the last 2 months, we've seen more than 80 governments rush through emergency laws that grant them sweeping new powers over their people. That is why what you are considering here today is so important.
Amber Austin-Wright for 10 News First.
Germany has taken another loud and dusty step towards being nuclear power-free, blowing up 2 cooling towers in the country's west. Controlled explosions brought 1 tower down at a time. Reactors began shutting down in 2011 as part of the country's move towards green energy. Well, Jono's back now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. While plenty of AFL clubs have been forced to part with up to 50% of their staff, the Lions have managed to avoid the carnage. Coach Chris Fagan revealing the club was already running with a skeleton crew due to budget constraints that fell well under the AFL's soft cap.
The good part about that, or the silver lining for us in this period, is that we've been able to maintain most of our staff, most of our coaches for this next period, albeit they're not on full-time work, of course.
They'll resume full contact training from Monday, with the season set to get back underway on June 11. The Broncos will restart the NRL season on May 28 against the Eels after the next 2 rounds of the competition were confirmed, but we'll have to wait another 6 days for the complete draw and to know where they'll play.
Finally, some good news for acting NRL CEO Andrew Abdo to deliver, and the relief was clear.
But we remain on track for May 28, and now we know which games we can look forward to in just under 2 weeks' time.
The Eels are heading on a road trip to reboot the season against the Broncos. Melbourne meet 2019 grand finalists Canberra for the first time since the finals. And a classic Rabbitohs-Roosters grudge match will spice up the first Friday night of footy.
I think there's a little bit more in it when you play against the Roosters.
Latrell Mitchell will meet his former club for the first time since their messy breakup. Despite his patchy early form at fullback, Rabbitohs teammates are urging patience with the star recruit.
Yeah, the way we've been training at the moment, Latrell's staying at fullback. Doesn't bother me where he plays. He's a wonderful talent. Just his skill level at training's been unbelievable.
The Broncos back up the following Thursday, while Friday the Panthers, minus Nathan Cleary, host the Warriors. The Eels-Manly rivalry is reignited Saturday before the annual Queen's Birthday clash between the Dragons and Bulldogs.
There are lots of blockbusters and great games in those 2 weekends.
The Dogs resume their season against the Sea Eagles, but coach Dean Pay feels there's been too many changes in the rush to kick off on May 28.
Certainly looks like a different competition for where we sit. I can't see why we can't have every team back, starting on 0 points again.
The Dragons are preparing for the Warriors. First up, Coach Paul McGregor, all for one referee.
Selfishly, if I look at the Dragons, we give the least amount of penalties away in holding people down.
Ros Kelly for 10 News First.
Chief Health Officer Jeanette Young insists Bryce Cartwright's waiver to play wasn't a win for anti-vaxxers. After receiving a medical exemption to avoid the flu shot, the Titans forward was tight-lipped as he returned to training this morning.
No, I won't be making any comments today.
Is this a win for anti-vaxxers then?
Absolutely not, no. He had a contraindication.
After missing a week of training, he's likely to be benched for their round 3 clash against the Cowboys. Both professional and social sport have certainly sprung back to life over the past few days, so let's take a look at how some athletes have embraced their newfound freedom.
It sounds like a Sylvester Stallone screenplay. Or perhaps Tyson and Holyfield are channeling The Last Dance with their plans for a third bout.
I'm back. I'm back.
Hey, Mikey, we like it. Quote unquote, I'm back. That's all Jordan said on Saturday. That was really all Jordan needed to say.
One fight starting, but another just ended.
Get dressed, you're playing golf today.
No, I'm not, Grandpa. I'm playing tennis.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Victorian golfers got the green light this week. Some were so keen they couldn't even wait for sunup.
Up!
Others, though, probably should have waited longer.
Goodness, man. Put yourself down, Al. You're not good. You stink.
Tough call, but not as hard as calling the Penguin Parade.
Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is.
Don't worry, Sir David Attenborough. The callers aren't coming for your job. Just like these mascots, they're hoping to be back at work soon. Tim Morgan for 10 News First.
There's actually been plenty of highlights this week, Georgie.
There certainly has. Thank you, Jono. Well, coming up, the weekend forecast for the Gold and Sunshine Coasts.
Who doesn't love a classic apple pie?
Apple pie is very simple. How can I elevate it? They're watching me. I'm trying to ignore them. I'm just trying to stay calm. I'm feeling a lot of pressure. This dome has to be perfectly done. There's no room for error.
The night where another one of your favourites goes. The Bombshell Elimination, 7:30 Sunday.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it, clap, clap.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
When life gives you dirtiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. With products to keep every surface free from spills, dirt and allergens. For a clean and healthy home, Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind. Thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
Your next royal TV show obsession.
I'm married to an idiot. God himself spat me forth for greatness. Why does he make you a woman then? For comedy.
The brand new series, The Great, premieres tomorrow only on Stan.
Do it, baby.
Song, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Rose Hill, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Save 20% on your second policy when you buy new eligible Suncorp home and car insurance together before July 10. Helping you save when you need it most. That's the Suncorp spirit.
To keep everybody safe, at Aldi, some things have changed. Not everything, some things. Like there's these trolley wipes, this queue, that hand sanitizer, and those social distancing markers. Those we've always had. Noppers. Tasty. But these are new. Sneeze guards. Yep, Aldi is even more different than it was before. But it's still good different.
Bed Match at 40 Winks takes the confusion out of buying a bed. And right now, get any size mattress for the price of a single. That's a queen, king or super king mattress for the price of a single. But hurry, ends Sunday. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
And I get 5 years cap price servicing with my new Corolla.
Well, they're impressed.
Toyota value stays with you, like 3.9% finance across the Corolla hatch range. Older feeling. Toyota.
Quick, let us in!
What's the password?
Moonshine.
It has a number in it.
Moonshine 123.
And at least one capital letter.
When you need to snap out of it, have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Up next, AFL's comeback details confirmed. So how long before your team hits the field?
Tommy's got a new batch of legends to battle it out with the skills they've learnt in lockdown.
And Aussie singer-songwriter Missy Higgins joins us to chat about her special new project. The Project next.
Time now for a final weather check. Josh, a possible shower for the coast this weekend.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie. We could see a shower or two for the Gold and Sunshine Coast across the 2 best days of the week, and we'll get to that forecast in just a moment. Let's have a look at the weather setup. It's all due to a high pressure system situated in the Tasman Sea, sending those onshore winds along the Queensland coast once again. Got an inland trough as well, but that's not really going to produce any showers or thunderstorms as we get across the weekend. Most of the activity will be confined to the coastal fringe. So we're looking at those showers potentially along the southern coastline for tomorrow. That does include parts of the sunny coast and even up to the northeast tropical coast and adjacent inland, spreading across parts of the Atherton tableland. So let's duck in for a closer look. Cairns and Atherton, chance of a shower tomorrow, but it should be dry in Townsville with 28 degrees. 29 for the Isa and 28 for Longreach. Beautiful day for Roma after a chilly start of 6 degrees. Sunny afternoon will follow with 24, and just the chance of a shower for Maryborough and hitting the same mark. For the southeast, it will be a partly cloudy day. The high chance of showers along that coastal fringe and even the chance of a thunderstorm about the Moreton Bay Islands. Overnight temperatures falling to between 9 and 14 degrees. Daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. We're going for 25 at Logan, 23 at Caboolture with a chance of a shower, 25 at Ipswich and 20 degrees out on the Darling Downs for Toowoomba. Now for Brisbane, with those showers being a little bit more coastal, I don't think we'll see too much tomorrow. It should be a pretty much dry day out there with 24 degrees the maximum temperature. Up to 25 Sunday, and then the chance of showers increases from Monday onwards, in particular on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. For Ipswich, we're looking at a fine weekend. Tops of 25 degrees, some beautiful mild temperatures on the way that should persist into Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday we could see the chance of a shower. Let's move into our coastal areas though, and as you can see here, we're looking at a shower or two for the Gold Coast Saturday and also Sunday. Now, showers will ease on Monday with a top of 24 degrees, but then showers are set to increase on Tuesday, hitting the same mark. So Tuesday and even Wednesday at this stage looking a little bit wet for the Goldie. Moving on to the Sunshine Coast, we've got a shower or two for Saturday, tops of 23 degrees. We're looking at showers on Sunday for 23. So those showers could increase Sunday. They will ease on Monday like the Gold Coast, but then they'll increase again on Tuesday next week, continuing into Wednesday and Thursday as well. Temperature-wise though, looking very nice with those temperatures in the mid to low 20s. So certainly the dry spots a little bit further inland this weekend, Georgie, but there will be some dry patches to get out and about.
We certainly need the rain though, don't we? Thank you, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, make sure you head to 10 Daily. I can't get my words out. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Good night.
Tonight, the government pledges millions towards the COVID-19 mental health emergency.
AFL's comeback details